79T 2458 Learning Corp. Little Red Riding Hood. Take one.
Oh man, that is one slow coffee machine. I will grant you that. We're a couple minutes behind. Hope you guys understand. It's the Christmas season. I was gonna put on one of those red morning ads at the beginning and shit on somebody, but I'm like, I don't have the heart for it. Don't have the heart for it today. Let's there. Welcome. Hope you guys enjoy it. My Christmas gift came early this year. New studio. As you know, during the Christmas season, I like to podcast about masculinity while my girl runs power tools in the other room and renovates the house because that's her zen. Nice Grinch glow. Yeah, I thought I'd go all green and red. Let's do some Christmas stuff right here. And then, so originally the show was supposed to be, I had one of my guys from the D&D stream that we've been doing, Rolo and me and Drew Bay and a couple others. Every couple of weeks we kind of slip one out there and you're like, where the hell did this come from? And it seemed timely because it was about Destiny, because I guess you guys don't know this about him, but he used to be a StarCraft pro player, sort of, on Twitch. And I asked this guy, is like, how on a scale from 0 to Korean, how good was he? He's like, he's as good as you can get without being Korean. And I thought, what a neat little starting off point. Because it's like, it's in the news right now. He's the latest guy who's told us that the red pill is horrible for the last, I don't know, 2 years, and then became the living example of it. It's pretty funny. And I hate the gossip stuff. Oops, not Feedback Hub. I want to get Notepad up so I get the timestamps right on the stuff we're talking about. There she is. Yeah, it's not so much the gossip side of this. It's just there is so many things that happen every time. One of the big ones is people using like some great expectation. Like here, I'll tell you a story. This was back in the Reddit days, which, oh my God, there was Reddit days. Yes, relax. There was Reddit days. And there was this subreddit called Purple Pill Debate, because there was a subreddit called the Red Pill, obviously. And there was a subreddit that they made called the Blue Pill. Now, the Blue Pill was a bunch of weesh dudes and soccer moms who like to make fun of any guy who posted a field report where he wasn't the greatest man on earth, saying, see, these guys are just losers. And to which my thought is like, hey, do you go into an elementary school and make fun of the kids who don't know calculus yet? It's like, what are you expecting? But whatever. There was this girl. I want to say she was Australian, but I cannot remember her username for the life of me. And she was an escort because prostitution's legal in Australia. She was doing her thing for years, and then by the book, like 27, 28, she decides she doesn't want that life anymore. She wants to settle down. Grab the type of man that she's never had before. You know, the standard stuff, the very rote red pill speech. You know, she settles down, epiphany phase, wants the safe second option, blah, blah, blah. And for 2 years, that was the conversation. Hey, here's this red pill thing right here. What do you guys think of that? And everybody's like, well, what about, I don't even remember her name. I was going to call her Karen. What about Karen? Karen's the living example of this not. Karen this, Karen that. And any guy tries to have an argument. Yes, back then people had Reddit arguments and it's like, well, Karen shows you guys you're all wrong. You can totally do it. You just have to believe. Anyway, to the point of the story. Karen decides she doesn't love her husband anymore. Decides to go have some fun outside. Marriage goes south. Divorce. You know, poor kids. All that stuff, right? So what did everybody do? They realized, oh, wow, maybe this guy has a point. Maybe these red pill things have an idea. Or did they just memory hold the whole thing and pretend it never happened? I'll give you a hint. The answer is they memory hold it. It was like, bro. And it was funny, too, because every now and then somebody would try and post that, hey, do you remember that girl you guys told us was the greatest thing on earth? And then one day she just disappeared. What was up with that? And everybody's like, I don't know. That's Destiny. And it's not the first time it's happened on that one. It happened before then. It's happened after then. And it's going to happen again. The difference is now in this fresh and fit, whatever eyeball economy, YouTube nonsense, we now have a big televised event from some guy with no shame who's willing to give you in excruciating detail the most private stories of his life. So it got me thinking, and this is what we're getting into the topic, which has nothing to do with Destiny. Oh yeah, since that was not there. So anyways, we're going to try it. I'm going to try it with him next week. And if not next week, so Christmas season's all weird for people, I'm going to get the first Saturdays gone. So we're going to kind of like bounce around in topics. Typical Ryan, the most topical subject 3 weeks too late, whatever. And then it got me thinking too, how many things do we have that happen either in cycles or so common that it's pretty reliable for like every man experiences? What things like this happen that we can go over today? And then I was doing some research and I'm like, oh, the power of no, and how to get through the Christmas season. Because I'm a veteran I've been here for every Christmas of my entire life, as have most of you. And I thought, what a great example that people can relate to in their own lives right now, as to how just like basic assertiveness training, basic nice guy stuff, all this stuff can be done and make your life better in a tangible, not abstract way, you know? Couch is back. I can't believe you changed. It's beyond the shelves, Marty. It's beyond the shelves. There was shelves on both sides. Those have all been taken down. The entire place was drywalled and repainted, and then an entire new set of cabinets and shelves were brought up. It's like it was like a fairly big undertaking. It was a week of hell, a week of where I couldn't play Minecraft online. Oh yeah, the power no, and that's it. Because I don't know. Let me see. Chat's a little small right now, but why are Koreans inherently good? It's not that they're inherently good at StarCraft or video games. It's because StarCraft is like the Korean national sport. It beat out Taekwondo. When you get kids that play it since they were like 6 years old and do it for 20 years, yeah, they're gonna get good, and that's really it. It's the same as like Americans. Why aren't Koreans good at football? Well, they don't play it in elementary school. So here's the question for you guys as we're starting to work. Yeah, dude, she's really good. She is really good. During the Christmas season, I don't know how many of you guys are married or have a live-in girlfriend, that sort of thing, but how many of you guys have that hectic, stressful, neurotic Christmas? Me. Timestamp this and paint you a picture. Actually, you know what? Let's make fun of somebody. I know I said I wouldn't, but now I got the feeling. And then we'll get on to it. Oh, what the hey.
I love the way girls smell. I love how they always make sure, by and large, they shower, and they just have an amazing smell to them in general.
I wonder what girls smell like. I always thought they smelled human, but what do I know? What do I know? I clearly didn't have a father. Let me paint you a picture. You have the holiday season coming up, and your girl's like, oh my God. And she starts rambling off a bunch of stuff that you didn't know existed a minute ago that has to get done now. There is gifts you got to do. There is 5 holiday parties. Your friend's hosting one. Your brother's hosting one. Your family's hosting one. Both of your works are hosting one. You have to get down to the mall, and the mall is chaos. Every guy who's never driven before, and like it's always some like weird 86-year-old East Indian lady who doesn't even know what a car is, and she's like, I'm going in to get some fabric or whatever. The parking lot is nonstop chaos. If you live in like a bigger city like Edmonton and that, and you want to go to the West Edmonton Mall, dude, you're literally watching. It's like Burning Man for shopping. It's crazy. And then you already know there's a crime spree, like cars get broken into. So you can't just go and pick stuff up and bring it back. You have to go pick it up, and then you have to have some way of like hiding it in your vehicle so nobody comes looking through and accidentally decides to beat your window with a crowbar and ruin your Christmas for you. Or beatings in the thing. Like, I don't know what Black Fridays, if you guys have the same rush that the Black Fridays have, but some guys like, I want the last Aquaman action figure, and then the wife starts fighting you over it. Like all of that craziness, right? Nonstop Dre, $3.60, $2. Thank you very much. Give the gift of red pill to your loved ones. Oh, that's so sweet. Where was I leading off? Oh yeah, and there's all the kinds of stuff. Well, are we going to have it at our place right now, or your place, or your mom's place, or our parents' place? We have to cook this stuff. We got to prep. When do you want to make the big trip? The big trip for food. Oh, we got to make sure we get all the liquor, and we got to make sure we get all this. And oh, what do we do about this? And you notice there's like, it's completely manufactured, spun out of nowhere. Neuroticism. Most guys fall for it because, Well, she sounds like she knows what she's doing. She's saying it with some confidence, and she's the loudest one in the room. Therefore, I'm going to follow it. And now it starts arguments. Because when you're trying to park, oh, get that spot there, get that spot there. Oh, this, oh, watch out for that guy. And then she starts yelling at the thing, and you're yelling at the thing. And you don't realize that the guy in the car ahead of you that's being an ass, you're not yelling at him. The sound's bouncing off the windshield. You're technically yelling at your spouse about that asshole in front of you. Yeah, and then each party has different house rules that you have to know, abide by. They won't state them. There's all kinds of stuff. Now, we're not talking just normal stuff. And add to that, there's been some crazy stories on like Twitter, on YouTube. There's like one thing went up, I think it was today, where somebody's like, yeah, we're just not going to tell anybody my grandfather has COVID. And everybody's freaking out. It's like, oh my God. And then all of a sudden, every person who's got like lung cancer came out of the woodwork to display how they're like, this is the worst thing ever. Like, you can't come to my house without a proper PCR test. Which it's funny because Toronto just had like a big study done. And the COVID test that we've been handing out for 3 fucking years, it cost us like $90 million for a city that's broke. Turns out that they were faking the studies and they were burning evidence to show that they didn't work. So it was just a cash grab. Don't even solve any. It doesn't detect COVID until you're basically able to detect COVID by looking in the mirror. How funny was that? Yeah, holiday stress. All of this stuff, nothing as fun as some last minute Xmas consumerism. And you don't have to do any of it. You don't. There's 2 things you can do to completely remove it. I mean, first off is become Jewish, because I don't think they celebrate it, or Jehovah's Witness or something like that. But the second one is a little bit of planning and the power of the word no. Love the word no. The word no is awesome. And do you remember, I don't know if you remember, but you probably have heard it before, where I make this very, very flippant quip where it's, how do you make a woman happy? And everybody's like, how? And you go, by dragging her to happiness, kicking and screaming. Insert feminists right there talking about all their child abuse that I didn't ask about and don't want to hear about. And you don't drag anybody anywhere. And I'm just like, autism, man. I don't know why, but they got to stop doing it. Anywho, so back to the power of no. You got to ask yourself, like, first off, what you can do is, can you plan stuff early? And as this is like your basic boilerplate stuff. Well, why don't you go shopping in November? Which is absolutely true, and you can do that, and you should. But generally speaking, when you're talking of like the kind of things, and this is a section in praxeology where I talk about the male superpowers and the female superpowers, kind of like the whole what do you bring to the table bullshit, right? Except for actually what do you bring to the table. And for a girl, a guy who's just strong and emotionally stable is like a fucking superpower. Like, I don't get how he does that. Like, I would have to move this sofa. I'd have to call 3 friends. I'd have to get a dolly. He just picks it up and moves it. It's fucking crazy. And for guys, it's like, how does she think that, like, I should send a Christmas card to all of these people over here and do this and do this? And it's like, for some reason now, all these people that I barely know in my life think of us as great friends. Wow. It's that girls, it's the feminine instinct for, what do I want to call it? Not comfort. Because it's a nice guy thing too. Caretaking. That nice guy trait of caretaking. Yeah, women have it naturally, and it's a superpower. It's kind of why a lot of the nice guy behaviors is just stop acting like a woman. Like, I don't mean that in a pejorative. I mean, just stop acting like a woman. My girlfriend wants to sell cards for everybody. Yeah. So the power of no is, as a guy, you just decide how much of this you want to opt into, right? Some of it's simple. Well, we're obligated to go to my parents' house. First off, your mom hates you. Secondly, your dad's an alcoholic. Thirdly, your stepbrother diddled you, and every time you go over there, you have a mic crisis, and a week later, I have to hear about it by you crying all night. So we're not going there. No. And your girl will fight back. No, we have to. That's what you have to do. And you're just like, no, we're not fucking going. And you have to put up with this giant argument about it. And there's no argument. This is, again, basic nice guy behavior. It's just the power of no. It's broken record. No, we're not going. You don't like it. You never like it. And you're doing this out of some weird obligation. We're not going. We're not going. No. Well, why not? Because we're not going. That's why. Because I said so. You can do that if you want to. But the point is, you're just not going. And look, at the end of all of this, you can realize, okay, what can she do if you say no? And you realize all she can do is talk. That's it. She can't pick you up and carry you there. She's not going to leave without you. Girls are terrified of going anywhere alone. She's going to bitch. She's going to moan. She's going to cry. She's going to manipulate. That's it. And if you can handle that, you're not going. And here's the best part. And it's like the part I love about the nice guy behaviors now. It's such like a basic bare bones red pilled 101 thing, but it pays off dividends so hard. Is that after all of this fight, after her having you drag her to happiness, kicking and screaming, the next day, she will wake up and say something, man, I love how everybody else has these stressful Christmases and ours are just nice and chill and loving. It's great. And you look at her and you're like, with those wide eyes she's got and that lovely bed head hanging out, and you're like, where the fuck's your memory, bitch? No, I'm just kidding. You're like, yeah, it's good. It's good. You don't need credit for it. Like, hey, remember that when you fought me this entire way? Like, don't be that validation seeking guy. You got the win. Don't be over here arguing with the referee. We need an instant replay. I want you to realize that I won. It's like, dude, take the W and go. Take the W and go. Isn't this associated with a woman's collective? See, Alpha AK, this is why I never trust accounts with Alpha. And I'm putting you on blast. I don't mean to, but it's a perfect example. Isn't this associated with a woman's collective mentality? This is the kind of thing I'm trying to get you guys to stop doing. You've processed what I've just said, this power of no, broken record, look into the future, deciding how much misery you want to opt into, all that stuff, and you're framing it from a female perspective. Isn't this associated with a woman's collective mentality? Who fucking cares? It does not matter. Why is a stupid fucking question. It is. It is this weird, it kind of is in line with that Swiss watch thing I talk about, where guys think I can just understand and be omnipotent, then I'll make all the good decisions, nothing will ever go wrong. A lot of it is because guys want to understand how women work. And it's like, you don't need to go that far into it. You know it's a thing, you know it's there, and that's good enough. Like when you're driving your car, do you need to know how to build a camshaft? No, you don't. But you want that guy in the car talking to you about, well, the camshaft is this. Like, shut up. I'm trying to drive. That's how I kind of want you guys to approach this stuff. Anyways, I haven't had a sip yet of coffee. It's probably why I'm cranky. Give me a second. Oh my God, that's so good. I haven't even Irished it this morning. I tried, guys. I tried to drink all Christmas. I'm like, yes, a drunken Christmas again. And I'll get like 2 drinks in and I'm like, I'm over it. That's like, is this what happens? Is this why Rolo quit drinking? So even yesterday, I'm like, yes, dude, it's a long day. Last day of rentals. We were doing like basically a whole thing of spring cleaning. We got the strays coming over for this Christmas, the family and all that. And we're like, I had 2 light beer. There's this beer called Stonewall, which is in Toronto, which is great. I love it because it's like a very crisp and light beer. So when you get these little flavor packs, like root beer or whatever, you put it in there, you can basically have like an alcoholic root beer or an alcoholic like strawberry drink. It's great. But even now I'm like, whatever. Isn't this associated with the menstrual cyclists? Oh, shush. Nonstop Dre again, $2 super chat. Thank you very much, sir. Heavyweight couch is so alpha, bad days happen. You gonna turn me into a Chuck Norris meme? I hope not. Once they start turning you into a Chuck Norris meme, you know it's the beginning of the end. It's the beginning of the end. Oh, I gotta fix this lighting. It's giving me very sinister vibes. Here, one sec. Yeah, the power of no. And it's not just like where you decide to go, where you decide not to go. Sometimes it's the gifts. Because everybody knows money causes a lot of stress. Money is one of the, other than boredom, it's kind of the biggest reason chicks decide that they don't love you no more. Which, fair enough. If you're a girl, I guess I would be a little, yeah, whatever. I'll figure it out later. Damn it. Good enough, I guess. You know what? Whatever. You guys are getting fucking ashy eyes. I don't care. A lot of value. Thanks, Ryan. Hey, no worries, man. No worries, man. Challenge accepted. I'm more of an Illuminati camshaft guy myself. Oh, hush. Where was I going with this one? Oh, yeah, it's more than just that. Sometimes it's the gifts and the money. So like, oh, I got to get a $50 gift for my 3 cousins, my 3 nieces, my 3 nephews, this family, that family. You end up with like $1,000 worth of gifts. And sometimes it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Does everybody need a gift? And it's not even like they're good gifts. It's just, it's a gift for the sake of being a gift. Did you ever consider that just being there for your family, even a fucking phone call, is a better gift than, here, I got you some shit? Try that. One of the Christmases is actually something I did, which was great. It's just for all my Navy buddies, and I've been doing it since, my Navy buddies, my family and that, I just call. If I'm not there, like I live on the other side of the country to most of them, I just call. Hey, Merry Christmas. How's things? The family all there? Put me on speakerphone. Hey guys. Tell them what's up and ask everybody about their day and just be like this. Guys, I miss you. You know, get there next year, something like that, or, you know, the year after that, or we'll bring you up here. And it's just sometimes you realize that just loving your family is a much better gift than them opening an Amazon box one day with like a note on this says it's from Ryan. Or when somebody gifts you over the cost of a gift someone else got. You see what I mean? That's like all this weird, well, her gift cost $100 and our gift cost $50, and you get to have all this micking conversation about this. It's like, why not just avoid all of it? You tell your family, dude, I don't want anything. I don't want any gifts. Just your time. Your time. You know, come have dinner with me. We'll come have dinner with you. Or just give a phone call. And your girl probably doesn't like it because what's the standard Christmas thing? Well, the standard Christmas thing is you got to buy gifts. It's like, really? Who told you that? The people that sell gifts told you have to buy gifts for Christmas. Oh, thanks. A little motivated reasoning, but whatever. I'll take it. Yeah. And so that's the big thing here. And we do Christmas cards. We always do like joke Christmas cards. We'll get the family. Like I remember this was our first year. And this is probably one of my favorite things. It's my favorite story here for you guys. So our first year Christmas, me and the girl, and we went to Walmart and we were like, you know what? We should do some Christmas cards. Like, yeah, I've never done those before. Let's do it. And then I thought, and we were like, and I'm like, you know what we need? I'm like, what's that? We need a baby. She goes, what? Yeah, like that one. And we saw this couple walking around. They had like a 2-year-old Polish or like a year-old Polish kid. She couldn't walk, couldn't talk. We're like, this is going to sound weird. Can we borrow your kid for like half an hour? And she's like, what? Yeah, we wanted to take Christmas photos. And like my girl at the time this was like the 2010s. So she was like tanned orange and this. And it was this bright white Polish kid. And we're like, yeah, like, well, we wanted to take some Christmas photos. We thought it'd be really cute because her family hasn't met me and my family hasn't met her. And we'll put this kid in here and see what they do. And they go, you know what? I could use the break. Yeah. So we got them some like McDonald's or whatever. It's like, chill out here. We're just going to be over here. Come on over. We'll give you guys one of the photos if you want to. They think it'd be hilarious. And that's what we did. We're like, yeah, we'll send Christmas gifts to the whole family. And that was good too, because it wasn't so much that we're like, oh, this gift costs this much and this costs this much. And it's like, no, let's spread a little bit of joy. And it was me and it was my girl and it was this little Polish kid we called Eva. Little blonde, like my girl's got green eyes and I got brown eyes, and the kid had blue eyes and blonde hair. And the funniest thing is when we sent it to our family, and her mom goes to her, it's like, oh, he's such a nice man, and look at that, he's already got a kid, so you know he's responsible. This is gonna be swell. And then my mom calls me and she's like, you can do better. We had a good laugh over that one. A good laugh. But you see what I mean? Like, could you imagine? And that was then we went, and like at the time we lived on Vancouver Island, so we got to go to her family for that Christmas. We had a good laugh about it. My family, I called, and hey, how's it going? How's this? And you know, they're big on that. And everybody had a great time, and nobody had to think about whose gifts were better than whose, and what did this and what did that. And it's just, you opt into your own level of misery night, you know? Now, in that case, I didn't have to use the power of no anywhere because there was nothing to say no to. I just had a vision of a Christmas where nobody is stressed. And that was always my goal. It's like, I did one Christmas where it was like the full on, like, let's do it. And I was like, never again. I almost wanted to kill 7 people that day. Juan Doe, €2 super chat. Elkhart Couch, the power of no. Merry Christmas. To you as well, sir. To you as well. Nico C, $5.07 super chat. When it rains, it's because Coach is thinking of something sad. He bowls overhand. What the hell? Dude, with that with the bike accident where it ran over my hand, I can't bowl anymore. My bowling hand, the bone's too brittle. I should have used a black kid. Well, I mean, we're in Canada. We don't have that same hang up over black kids that Americans do. So for us, it didn't really matter. This would have been any kid. Plus, I couldn't tell the story now because my mom would be mildly racist, being that she was raised in a black household. They use all the words. They get away with it. It's crazy. You try being a light-skinned girl with straight hair in an all-black family, and you let me know how it goes. And this is from the generation that still used to get the comb and put it on the stove to straighten their hair. So yeah. Avoiding family on Christmas. That sounds like me. And it's not even avoiding. It's just spending, like, opting in to what you know you can handle, or what you want to handle. I don't even say what you can, but yeah, know your limits, right? And a lot of these obligations you find out aren't real obligations. They're not. And it's something that makes me enjoy is the whole, how do I even want to word this? It was just kind of like your heart's in the right place. There's no hate in your heart. You're not doing this because, oh, I don't like her, I don't like him. It's like, if you go there, everything's going to be miserable and we have to pretend. We have to pretend like everybody's great. Let's just not. Let's just not. Having said that, gifts have gotten so much easier. Dude, do you remember, I don't know if you guys are old, but do you remember like the 2000s where if you had to go buy a gift, you had to go get a box with Legos in it or Bionics or whatever, or a video game, and it was like this big thing and you wrapped it in the thing, and because it was a larger size box, the postage cost a lot for it too, or to bring it with you to carry all of these things, and heaven forbid one of them was like a circular shape because then it just throws off the whole balance. Nowadays, oh, I love it. My nephew is like huge into Roblox, and so I get like a $50 Roblox card and I put it in a thing and make it, and it's like a little small gift, and I'm like, this is great. And the best part is, like, he gets it. Like, when I was a kid, you got a gift card and you were mad at the person. You're like, what the fuck? Why do I need to spend $36 at Toys R Us? I'm a damn grown man. Nowadays, they're like, dude, a Roblox card. This is awesome. And I'm like the greatest uncle ever. And I'm like, this is awesome. So we'll see. As my other nieces and nephews get a little bit older, they're going to start getting in on it. I'm going to find out, like, what are they into? And it's either going to be sports, Roblox, Minecraft, or Fortnite. And either way, I got it. I just think it's fun. Because then everything's kind of small and parceled, and like you're focused on what people actually want. And for the adults, like, dude, my brother doesn't need a gift. He has everything he wants. He earns a ton of money. He doesn't need anything. But getting his kids stuff to make them happy makes him happy, makes his wife happy. Makes everybody happy. Yeah, everybody's kids love Roblox. That's the point, right? Like, you can make things so easy on yourselves just by paying attention a little bit, you know? And your girl likes it because now you guys are the cool aunt and the cool uncle and the cool son and the cool daughter, and girls love that. It's like Valentine's Day. It's not so much that getting her flowers is what makes her love you. It's that getting your flowers that her friends at work get to see her receive. It's the flex. Your nephews will all become red pill influencers. I don't know, man. Actually, I have said that, Nick. Thank you, by the way, for that horrible... By the way, he basically is like the equivalent of telling an evangelical Christian that your kids are going to be like, they're going to be gay when they grow up. You're like, no! Keep them away from the red pill. Where am I going with this one? Oh, yeah. The power of no. The power of no. But you see what I mean? You see what I'm getting at here? Is if you, as a guy, your superpower is you don't give a shit about social niceties and greasing the wheels and being good in the tribe. You can focus on what's effective for you and the people in your life that you want to pay attention to. And then for them, you get to make the hard choices. And that's the other thing that's great too. So a girl will fight you all this way because she's worried about her reputation. And it's by law, I get it. It's instinct. But at the same time, it's like, dude, it's my fault. And I've seen it when my girl had to cancel something that she didn't want to go, but she also didn't want to be seen as not wanting to go. I can't. My hubby's got to go do this. My man's got to do this. Using you as an excuse, like, saves the girl so much hassle. And it's like, that's a goddamn... What do you bring to the table? Well, when you cancel on your mother-in-law, you can blame me for it. She's like, oh, that's not bad. Drop those pants, sir. I love getting a Lowe's Home Depot gift card. Dude. So does my girl. It's such a chick gift. I want to be just like Uncle Ryan. Actually, you joke, Nick, but the one I gave the Roblox to, Apparently he watched my Minecraft videos, and I'm like, I'm talking to my mom. I'm like, don't do that. They're not for kids. And she's like, oh, he just thinks it's great. He thinks you're the best. And like, I hope you're just saying that to fluff me up. I tell you what, when he turns 13 or whatever age you're allowed to do it, if he wants to actually start doing this, I'll hook him up. I'll send him on. I'll put him on like a week-long seminar on how to do videos properly, and then I always have to give that speech too. It's like, here's what you want to look out for when somebody wants to be your friend on Discord, because I think every parent needs to have that. And I don't trust, my family's not a very technical family, so I'm like, I don't know if they're able to diagnose what the hell I just said. So I'll handle it. Some girls call paying attention to their family emotional labor. Oh, they do. They do. And that's the problem. It's not even that it's emotional labor. It's not a real thing. It's a vestige of a previous instinct. Like when we used to live in tribes, right? The monkey sphere, the 150 people, extended family units, tribes. When we used to live in those things, these kind of things really were life and death, you know, because everybody was there, everybody was within earshot, everybody, you know, all this stuff really mattered, and trying to keep the peace amongst everybody was a full-time job. But now we have these weird VLANs of social networks. I think I call them matrices. If you guys take a step back. So whenever you see idiot dudes who claim to be black pill or whatever talking about the Pareto principle, you know, that 20% of the men are getting 80% of the poon, this is bullshit. And you're like, yeah, but you're talking about it as if there's one social hierarchy in the world and that's it. There's some 20% of worldwide globalist chads and there's nothing you can do about it. It's like, no, that's not what's happening at all. What's happening is you have what's called a matrix of social engagements. So like your work is one. If you go to a certain bar, the bar has its own, and sometimes they're temporary, sometimes they're permanent, whatever. Your squash club has one. Your friend circle has one. Your other friend circle has one. If you're online as like part of a gaming Warcraft guild or whatever, that's a different one. Humans have these infinitely dispersed social groups, and in those social groups, each one has its own version of a Pareto principle. There's a top 20% of people getting 80% of the benefits, right? If the co-ed ones are sexual, the single sex ones are sexual. It's not my place to judge, whatever. So the whole point is, when guys are bitching about the Pareto principle, is that, well, what you need isn't to bitch about the top 20% of chads getting all the women. It's you need to be part of more social groups, social hierarchies. Because there's no way you're not going to top at one of them. I don't care. There's that dude ranting about how Whammon ain't shit is dating like a Brittany Venti chick. Like, you can make yourself a niche, and if your niche becomes good enough, a girl will invade it and try to sleep with you. It's like, it's just how people work, man. It's how people work. Yes, I'm a Chad in my Funko Pop collectors group. Dude, I'm not even joking. I can see that being a thing. Christmas used to be a thing for me as a kid, but now it's just one day off because I got to work for the man the next day. Oh, yeah, and that's the other thing, too. So a lot of people, and this is like a girl thing as well, well, it's Christmas. You have to have fun on this schedule, to which I've never ascribed to. I'm like, look, do you know what the most fun I had last year was? And everybody's like, what? It's like a Tuesday in the third week of March. What happened there? We just decided to go out. We ran into these people. We took a flight and blah, blah, blah. And it's never, your fun is never going to be on a schedule. You can't, it's not German. Fun time is now, sir. You have it for 6 hours. And then fun time is over. Back to work. And so a lot of it too is just setting your expectations. Like, look, Christmas is like, it can be fun, but you can't make yourself have fun if it's not fun. And sometimes you just gotta, you know what? I'm going to take the knee. I'm going to take the knee and we're going to run out the clock, and it's fine. It's fine. It is fine. What's your most fun day of the year? Dude, my favorite Christmas tradition was on Boxing Day. Canada has Boxing Day. It's our version of Black Friday. It's the day after Christmas. I didn't know Americans didn't have this until like 2 weeks ago. But we would just drive around town. Do you know how fun it is to drive in Boxing Day traffic? Because there is nobody on the road. You can run red lights. You can just rip around. If there's like that boulevard that you always have to like 40K an hour because it's traffic everywhere, you can just rip down it for whatever. And you go find yourself some ethnic we don't celebrate Christmas store that's still open and see what they got and go shopping there. It's so much fun. I loved it. And that's because the reason I found it was fun, and this is my personal thing, where it's like the stuff that if nobody's doing something, I automatically find it more fun. Like nothing will turn me off of an event in Toronto more than, hey, a free thing, bring the kids. Oh, no. No. Whatever anybody is going to do something, I want to go the other way. It's like, no. I like not spending money too much to participate in the holidays. That's it too. So it's like, yeah, is money what makes people love you? No. And you know who believes that though? Those, and what do they call them online? They call them beta males. You know those guys? I'm a good earner and I'd be a good husband and I'd take girls out to dinner on the first date. Those are the idiots that think, hey, oh, Nico C. Coach can speak Russian in French. Nonstop Dre. Ryan is so alpha. Socrates seeks him for advice. You guys are ridiculous. If this wasn't Christmas, I'd be sending out some bands, but Merry Christmas to you and your stupid Chuck Norris jokes. Oh, I can't believe I'm doing this sober. Jesus. Is Canadian Christmas on a different day than Thanksgiving? No, the Christmas is the same day. It's the winter solstice. Wait, is that today? Or was that yesterday? Dude, the shortest day of the year was yesterday. So today things are going to start getting longer. Longer daytime. Okay, Boxing Day sales are a UK thing. Okay, so UK has it too. So I guess it's a Commonwealth thing. Ryan's broke. Push it to the limit. Andrew, 10 Rons. Coach, how to become a worldwide globalist Chad. Like, what do you want from me, man? That's a little bit outside of scope, but I don't know. Do what those guys are doing. Be part of like some trust fund network of people. Get in good. Spend a lot of money so people will be your friend and then enjoy it. Do what, who's that idiot with the beard and the girls on the boat? What the fuck was his name? Blitzarian. Just go be like him. What does he do? He rents 800 girls, takes Instagram photos with them, and buys himself a boat on the company credit card. Because he can write it off as a tax deduction for a business expense. I don't know, try that out. Oh, get 33 Bugattis, one for each girl you human traffic, and then launder a bunch of money for the mob, and then brag about it online, and you too could be a worldwide globalist Chad until you get arrested about it. His mother has a tattoo that says son. Nico C. Jesus Christ. Sleeper with the Australian $2. Coach is so Chad, his real account. Oh, Jesus Christ. Nope. Ain't bringing that guy. Nice try, sir. Just don't brag about money laundering and tell where your last Bugatti is. Yeah. I saw what happened. Rule 0 is under... What the fuck? Okay, dude. I don't know who this is, but this is some weird comment. Yeah, like I thought. Sorry, man. We're not gonna play those vibes today. Where's I going with this one? Oh yeah, power of no. Power of no. Yeah, you just opt into it. And then you realize what's actually important. Because when you're looking through a feminine lens, you're living in your wife's frame, feminine lens. You're thinking of like those beta traits, like money. I can buy things and that will make people love me. That's where you get in this all gift and like, dude, I didn't realize how many people go into debt. I guess there was a repo guy or a bankruptcy guy. Rule 0 Dad's another does some bankruptcies where bankruptcies go up like 30%. Home evictions go up like 30% because people are like, they're so invested in buying gifts for Christmas and living with this nonsense that they'll skip rent to buy a bunch of toys for people they don't even like to hopefully make friends with people that don't care. And I'm just like, why? Like, focus on something, dude. And you don't have to, your gifts don't have to be crazy. Well, if she doesn't get the Power Man 10,000, then don't even count it. But it's like, no, dude, a nice, fun, enjoyable Christmas card, spending time with friends and family. Hey, I baked everybody pie, shit like that. It's like, why do you have to make things harder than they need to be? Now, granted, from what I understand, the way Americans treat Thanksgiving is the way Canadians treat Christmas, so it might not be the same thing. And I hope you're not one of those people that like starts getting in there and ranting about the goddamn Democrats at your dinner while your college-aged niece starts calling you a racist because you dropped 5 N-bombs. I'm just like, don't be part of that family either. Here's a tip and trick for you. when you get into this conversation and somebody brings up some sticking point of like, Obama is the greatest man ever, or Obama's the Antichrist, and you're like, I ain't having this. You're just like, we don't have to talk about this right now. And just repeat that. And they're like, well, no, I was thinking about, we don't have to talk about this right now. And that's it. And that's your way of saying it's like, relax. We don't have to talk about this right now. I would rather us not be at each other's throats and yelling at each other while you make TikToks about when you come home and your family is whatever. It's like, why are you dancing in front of the TV holding your phone while you're calling me a racist, says Susan. She's like, shut up. Doing this for the gram. Yeah, and they don't even like the gift. That's the other thing. Couch is so alpha. Alpha alcohol gets drunk on him. Jesus Christ. Dude. Nonstop. Okay, guys, thank you for the super chats and fuck you. Yeah, people getting gifts when the chirp is real. Oh, Chesty with the alluded yeah, fair enough. Yeah, who cares if I have nowhere to put the stuff I need to buy? Yeah, it's ridiculous. Hell, for the longest time, like this is our first year as a couple where we have like a Christmas tree. It's still a fake tree. It's a silver one. Where we wanted to live like the what's her name? Julia Louise Dreyfus, Seinfeld chick. Remember that on National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, where they had like those funny running things and they were the yuppies next door? Like, yeah, we're going to get a Christmas tree like that. So we got ourselves like a silver tinsel one with like pink vaporwave things on it. It's like awesome. So we finally put away the Charlie Brown Christmas tree. So this year I will not be taking a picture of the dog dancing a jig while the Charlie Brown song plays. But you see what I mean? It's like, how do you make yourself miserable instead by following the lead of the chicks? And it's like, oh, we got to get gifts for these people. It's like, no, we got to pay rent. We can't afford chicks for these people without going into debt. And your mom doesn't like you anyway, and you fight your brother every year. It's like, no. The art of minimalism. I wouldn't even say it's minimalism. Like, I don't want to fetishize the idea of not wasting your time and making your life worse than it has to be for something that doesn't matter. This is just straight up practicality, you know? The Festivus poll. Nice. Hide your dog from Cappy. What? Oh. I thought he liked the dog now. That his nephew's dog or whatever. Anyway, so we did that. And we're enjoying the tree. We put it up, put the lights up, and I tell you what, I'm gonna do another transition. Let's talk about our Christmas traditions that we do. The ones that actually make things better, the ones that people enjoy, the ones that if somebody comes over to your house for Christmas, they pick it up and are like, dude, that's a good idea. We'll do some note swapping here. I'll start with mine. But before then, who can I shit on, but in like a Christmas way? Actually, here's a good one.
Who do you think is the funniest member of Rule Zero Squad? Now, it's your favorite comment joke of theirs. I think Ryan brings good laughs. He does. Ryan is like British humor. It's like Monty Python. And people are like, if you get it, you laugh your ass off. If you don't get it, you're like...
Fuck Ryan.
People just don't get his humor. Who's the funniest one on there? You mean besides John Fitch? I think John Fitch is the funniest member of Rule Zero, but he's unintentionally funny. One of the robot dogs.
Seeing these robot dogs in real life was pretty surreal and terrifying.
And Cappy's pretty funny. He can be pretty funny too. Who's the funniest member?
Merry Christmas to everybody and happy whatever if you're an ethnic. No, I'm just kidding. So yeah, the Red Pill Christmas tradition. So for us, we have some simple ones. I have a very stable movie selection list. We have Die Hard, Die Hard 2, Lethal Weapon, Lethal Weapon 2, The Long Kiss Goodnight, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Stop crying and fight your father. And we drink. We prep cook most of the things. I've since settled on a spatchcock turkey. I've tried ham and salmon and all that stuff. I'm like, the spatchcock turkey is the easiest one. It's like, dude, you can get your turkey from a 4-hour nightmare into like a 1-hour efficient and actually better cook, because since the meat with a spatchcock, which is where you take out the spine and then you break the best breastbone and flatten the turkey. And then the entire turkey is level, like it's all even thickness. And so it cooks evenly in the oven. It takes up less vertical space because it's flat on like a baking sheet. And then you don't have to go through the issue of a lot of people get food poisoning because they eat stuffing like way too late. And because you're cooking in the cavern there, it's very easy to accidentally get some cross contamination. So just make a dressing. By the way, if you didn't know, the difference between a dressing and a stuffing is one goes into the bird and the other one doesn't. Just make a dressing. The dressing and the turkey, 45 minutes to an hour, Christmas dinner is done. You can literally take that out. You do the pie the night before. And so that's what we set up. So our Christmas Eve is basically the festive cooking stuff, right? And the next morning, just start drinking. You got to start drinking first thing in the morning. Put a horchata or a Caroline's or a Kahlua or a Bailey's with your coffee. And just go to town. And you're drinking. And you put on one of the movies. I find, so out of all the Christmas movies, Die Hard, Die Hard 2, Lethal Weapon, Lethal Weapon 2, Long Kiss Goodnight, like all these ones here, there's always one you like the most. And you just save that one. Some years it's like, dude, Lethal Weapon is the one for me. This year, it's probably going to be Long Kiss Goodnight. I don't know. I have a vibe for it. Oh, Bad Santa. Also Bad Santa and National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. So it'll probably be that one. And you save that one for like the hour before dinner, you know? Inject it with Cajun butter. Oh, yeah, dude. Well, actually, this year what I'm going to try and do is I'm actually probably going to do an Asian theme thing. I'm going to have a hoisin based with sesame oil. And I always coat the top with bacon. So that way I don't have to worry about any of the crisping on top afterwards. Like any of the burning that happens because it's too close to the element or whatever. Usually goes away because the bacon takes all the hit from that. Plus the salt goes into there. It helps with the moisture. It's all just great. I thought Clamato was your Christmas drink. You're talking about Caesars, sir. And Caesars are the Boxing Day drink. If you guys have never heard of this, it's a Canadian drink called a Caesar. The closest Americans have is a Bloody Mary. But Clamato is V8 with clam juice added to it. And you're like, oh, that sounds disgusting. It's not. It's really not. It's goddamn delicious. And then you do that with your vodka. You have the salt rim around the outside and the lime and the celery stick. And it's the greatest hair of the dog you've ever had. If you're hungover, if you've been drinking too much, you have a Caesar the next day. It's got electrolytes, a little bit of alcohol to take off the edge. You can put a meal into it. If you get really fancy, you can start putting like sausage sticks and pickled peppers and everything. You can basically have a salad in a drink that's also got electrolytes. It's the greatest thing ever. I hear they're starting to get it in America. Ooh, steak and brandy for Xmas because Africa doesn't have turkeys. Interesting. I thought we took the turkeys from Africa. I guess not. Will I be on Rule Zero? Who's hosting? I will. Rolo's hosting, if I'm not mistaken. I wasn't even sure if I was going to be here. That's why this one's like, seems a little ad hoc-y. But for some reason, some of you guys seem to like the ad hoc ones. Because like I said, I didn't even think I was going to have this one. I tell you what, there's going to be a... I'll lead to it. I just got to find who's the fucking video. Fuck, I don't know where it is. Oh, dude, ladies' night. Oh, that's Rich's thing. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, we'll get onto there. Anyway, so that's mine, and that's there. And I always, so the girl and I always have competing cranberry sauces, and I always make a sweet potato pie. I've been making those for as long as I can think. And then the day after, we take the turkey carcass and the leftover vegetables. Now we kind of make a stock from it and then make soups. And I use the stock sometimes for like a ramen or whatever. I usually put Clamato into my Bloody Mary mix. Yeah, so technically what you have is called a Caesar. Because it's, oh, I guess the proper, okay, so if you guys really want to know how to make a Caesar then, it's vodka, Worcestershire, I can never remember how to pronounce it, Worcestershire sauce, Clamato. You'll have a salt rim, which is celery salt, something else in there too. I think it's like the seasoning salt. Anyways, whatever. Celery salt for sure. Just go to the store, look up like Caesar salt rim. And then you get celery stalk as the classic, but you can also put a pickled green bean, a normal pickle, just anything either pickled or leafy, like leafy and woody tasting. And then, bam, go for it. I love both ad hoc and non-ad hoc streams. Old Bay. All right, yeah, so celery salt works on it. That's great too. But that's kind of the point, right? This was the tradition we kind of brought up. And then, you know, usually when you're making dinner is such a simple task now. And this doesn't matter if you're cooking for one person or 12. Because when I was in the military, what I would do is I'd always pick up strays. It's the term we use for guys who are stuck at the base or they're on a course from Halifax and they're stuck there. And they have to spend Christmas in the military on the barracks. You're like, dude, just come over. And so we'd bring like, you know, 5 or 6 people over and bring the strays over and have Christmas dinner. and do it there, and then go to the families or whatever. We're doing that again this year. I guess some acquaintances for me, but friends for the girl just had bad breakups, and they're like, I'm gonna be Christmas now. It's like, all right, well, bringing you over here, so it's gonna be fun. No, I'm not gonna do a ham this year. I was gonna do a ham, but then it's not. You know what? Screw it. I'm just gonna spatchcock a turkey. I did ham last year. Chicken bouillon is a nice underrated ingredient for any dishes with cheese-based sauces. I highly recommend it. Well, you know why, AK? That's because of the MSG. When you get the chicken bouillon, if it's the store-bought stuff, they always have MSG in it. And MSG is like instant savoriness. And so when you add that with any of your cheese-based sauces, so in the future, all you need to do is just add a pinch of MSG to your cheese sauces, and it's great. It's one of those little cooking hacks, same as when you're making a vegetable soup, especially like Asian vegetable soups. Like my girl makes this one. She calls it a, what's that stupid Korean dish called? Kimchi. She calls it the kimchi soup because she uses a lot of the same peppers that they use for kimchi, and she uses cabbage in it and that. Really good. Take a slice of processed cheese, melt it in with the sauce. Deceptively amazing. Never would have known, but yeah, Kraft cheese, really good Asian-inspired ingredient. I got a ham from a bear by an Amish community. Damn, I'm super excited to try it. The food there is really good. Bear? Interesting. Yeah, I haven't had bear since I was a kid, and I'll keep my thought like, I'm not a fan of it, but you go enjoy it. I'll leave it there. Buy Essence in the US, MSG without the need to go to an Asian supermarket. Oh, dude. That's the other thing. Why are you guys going to white person supermarkets? Holy shit. Went to one. My girl's like, I want to get some poblano peppers. I'm going to make chili rellenos. And I was like, she's like, yeah, there's nothing here. I'm like, that's fine. I'm just going to, and I can't remember, I was going to get liver. You can't get organ meats at white guy grocery stores. You can't get any peppers at white guy grocery stores. You can only buy like extra lean ground beef and tofurkin, the tofu turkey or whatever. And you're like, Jesus Christ, white people. And so what you need to do is, first off, to find a good grocery store to shop for your Christmas stuff, you need a grocery store that requires a deposit for a shopping cart. Don't go to these ones that just let you take the shopping cart and assume you're going to put it back. No, you need one that's got them under lock and key. You need to put $1 in to get your shopping cart out, or a quarter. That's the first thing you look for. The second thing you look for is it has to smell like a spice. Not like a spice but just like that general spice smell. Because you need shit out in the open. You can't have things all packaged, put away. That's white guy grocery store stuff. And look outside. What you want to see is rust bucket cars in the parking lot. That, like, the working class immigrant just came to Canada and this is their first Christmas ever kind of car. You know what I mean? So like a 1997 Acura Integra that the wheel wells all rusted out. Like, you're looking for one of those. And bonus points if you could find old people with those little push carts. You know those ones that old British ladies used to have? But the girl has to have like a giant headscarf. I don't even know what ethnicity they are, but like that's the grocery store for you. You go in there. First off, their butcher shops are like insanely cheap. You're like, yeah, here you go. Here's your entire ham for $10. You're like, damn, I love this place. And maybe the vegetables you never heard of before. You'll find out like somebody will have cloves, but they're not even dried out yet. You're like, dude, this is what a fresh clove berry is? Holy Jesus. Shopping cart deposits is really a thing. You guys don't have those? Oh, dude. Like, I can instantly tell you what the property values are based on how much money it takes to get a shopping cart out over here. Look at us in Dev, smoking beef ribs, making cornbread stuffing with candied sweet potatoes with marshmallows. I've tried, like, I know the yam and marshmallow thing is like a standard Christmas thing. I've tried, I just can't do it. Like, it's not that it tastes bad. The texture's a little bit, like the softness of the yam is a little bit, or sweet potatoes, is a little bit too soft for the chewiness of the marshmallows, but I'm like, I just can't. But if I have it, I always like it. I always like it. Asian grocery store, Mexican grocery, Middle Eastern or Chinese grocery stores too. Oh my God. Oh, so good. And the Aldi's the only place I know of that is shopping cart deposits. Yeah. Here it is. One currency coin for a cart. Yeah, basically. Every single guy Xmas I have the smoker going. Yeah, why wouldn't you? Maleficent will enjoy it on New York Eve and Bourbon Street. Oh yeah, the Caesars. It's a Canadian tradition. It's like the Canadian thing. I would put Caesars up there as more important than Molson Canadian, Labatt Blue, or Lucky for like the Canadian drink of all drinks. It's way better than Canadian Club or Crown Royal. Gonna replay this while doing some carpeting. Oh, look at you for Christmas. What's his name? Invincible Extremes Muscle Cars Garage. That is probably the most Christian Christmas I have ever heard of. Doing carpentry on the Lord's day of birth. Like, bro, that's pretty good. I've always said Asian communities are the best places to live, clean, and the best grocery stores. Oh, yeah, dude. Anyways, yeah, so Christmas traditions, and it's those right there. And they're fairly simple, and they're fairly easy, and it's like, even if you're at somebody else's house, and like, oh, you're in an Airbnb, you want some place, how are you going to get this thing put together? It's such a simple tradition, you can take it with you. Like, all you need is, if you want to, you can just buy 6 or 7 DVDs. You can put them on a hard drive and bring them with you plug them into the TV and just play them away. Put them on your laptop and stream them on there. It's like, it's impossibly hard to screw this kind of Christmas up. And I see so many people that try to do the whole 1950s Coca-Cola commercial Christmas, not realizing that's insane work because you watched it on Home Alone. That's what the Home Alone family did. Do you see where the Home Alone family lives? In Chicago, in that 3-bedroom colonial. Do you think these were like with like 50 people in the house? Do you really think those people didn't have like maid service or something? I don't know what to tell you. First world men want third world chef. How does this evolve? Because Megan, it's because the best cooking is poverty cooking. Because when you, and that's why like Italian cooking is so good. That's why most ethnic cooking is really good, because you have to be good at it. It's very easy. If you're like London in the 1700s, you don't need to make great food because you have an entire cow you can eat. Like, all you got to do is cook the meat. Here's a steak. Wow, that's amazing. Of course it's amazing. It's a steak. You literally don't need anything to make it good. But if you're poor and all you have is like the skirt steak, tough as shit, you're like, yeah, I got to figure out how to make this edible. And then they'll come up with like the most amazing science. And that's how. Italians have figured out a way to make tomatoes, onions, and wheat taste 500 different ways, and they never change the ingredients. They built up like 500 ways of making the wheat into whatever shape they want. Well, use a spoon on this one, a fork on this one, wrap this around a chopstick, and there you go. Yes, African women shit on women who need an onion to make a good meal. Huh. Ever had Afghani or Pakistani shawarma? I've had shawarmas. I don't know which one they're from, but yeah, they're good too. So yeah, I mean, Christmas traditions, and make your own. You don't have to adhere to some other one. I find that a lot of people that want to, like, well, this is what you're supposed to do. They always base that on what they watched on TV, on some advertisement. It's literally like the TradCon fantasy. You know, I always joke about that one where they'll see some guy who wants to go back to the 1950s sees a cigarette ad and is like, that's the kind of family I want. It's like, dude, that's the kind of family they wanted back then too. That's how they sold cigarettes. Hey, do you see how happy this dad is barbecuing with a cigarette? Well, with that cigarette, you too can afford your GI Bill inspired house. Really? No, not really. Just buy the cigarettes, sir. We want you hooked. It's like, Jesus Christ, man. Barbecue came from poor people trying to make cheap meats edible. Yeah. Pho is just poor people reboiling beef a million times and adding rice noodles. Most Catholic Xmas traditions have roots in pagan times. Well, that's most of Christianity, Arthur. Like, all of that, they took, as Christians started to take over the Western world, they started to see all these pagan festivals and all these pagan religions and all this pagan stuff. And they're like, no, that's ours now. Like, if I'm not mistaken, Christmas there's some astrological thing about Christmas. And like the 3 wise men, 3 stars, something to do with that, the pagan thing. And the Christians took it like, nope, we're making it the birth of the Savior. Fuck it. You guys are done. Old Hallows Eves was a pagan thing. The Christians took that too. And they're like, fuck it. And power to them. If you're trying to take over a culture, the best thing you can do is, and that's kind of like Americans, right? Or you take everything from all the immigrants that moved there and you make it American. Like, look what you guys did to Mexican food. You turned it into Tex-Mex. You know what would be great on this? More cheese. It's like, Jesus, man. I mean, I can't argue with you, but damn. By the way, your book, Fuck Files, arrived, and I'm reading it right now. Pretty cool. Thank you, sir. Like I said, all of it's true. Even if some of the stuff is kind of combined or separated. Like, the stories are all true, even if I had to like make 3 girls into 1 girl because it makes a coherent story, shit like that. So yeah, it's good. And then you should be able to see if you've had a life well lived. You'll probably start to notice a lot of shit in there. It's like, no, I've done that too. Oh, that one too. And you're like, oh yeah. Makes you think about things a different way. So I'm glad you enjoyed it. Well, maybe the solstice. If I'm not mistaken, though, the solstice is on the 22nd. Christmas is January 7th, but winter solstice is the 25th. So yeah, Christians took that instead. All right, fair enough. That was my atheist watching Zeitgeist every day for like 10 years. We'll get you. A very simplistic Christmas. Wait a minute. That's just like the Egyptian god Osiris, and 9/11 was an inside job. Yeah. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy your traditions. And the power of no. And the power of no, like, and I guess another part of it is you got to make sure that you don't take it personally. A lot of fights, a lot of stress. Your girl starts micking at you, starts yelling at you. Like, don't take it personally. It's not your fault. I mean, obviously it's whatever it happened, it is your fault, but like, it's not your fault. Sometimes the fight's not about you and you're just the person there to have it. Let's make fun of somebody. Oh, you know what? For the last poly Destiny girl who's not divorced.
To be pretty strong feminist. I've actually become a feminist again. Feminists, though, can be some of the worst people you'll ever meet. They can be like some of the most nasty. They'll take advantage of contradictory world values, right? Worldview, which is that like I'm talking about like psychology and mental health for men, and yet I'm in a field that like is overly feminized and shoving drugs down men's throat. And I'm like, I'm still recommending it because I don't want to lose like the baby out with the bathwater. Just because not all therapists are well trained to work with men. Just because a lot of therapists might even be biased against particularly like incel type men. If they hear misogynistic language at all, they might like shut you down. So and it was just difficult because I didn't want to be like super like nasty and mean or anything.
Oh, that brought the gift that keeps on giving. I feel bad for blocking her. I could have listened to her losing her mind over this Destiny thing too, but I'm like, I don't need the hassle in my life right now. Yeah, it must suck for poly people now. They have to all get up there and talk about how, no, Poly's great. He just didn't do it right. It's like, what does that sound like? What are you going to do? You can't blame no fault divorce. They're all progressive. My girlfriend is super stressed this month. Yeah, they all are, man. They all are. And you know why? It's because everybody else is stressed, and girls are very communal that way, and it affects them like a virus. It infects them like a virus, and that's the whole point of you being there is like, no. The power of no. Don't take any of this personally. If your girl's having a really bad day, or if your girl is just talked with her mother-in-law or her mom and she's gotten a big fight with her, she's going to come home, she's going to freak out on you. And as a guy, you normally want to take this personally because you're like, I wouldn't think of, if I got in a fight with my dad, I wouldn't come home and just start yelling at my wife. And it's like, yeah, well, they do. There's a lot of times she's venting on you. You're like, all right. So first thing you do is you look through the checklist, the red pill checklist. 1, does she have a point? And it's not, don't stop there, even if she does, because sometimes she has a point, but that's not why this got brought up anyway. So you kind of have to still look further. Does she have a point is mostly for you to do your mental checklist. Like, should I be changing something in my life to upgrade, whatever. Second thing you look at, when did she last eat? Hangry is a thing. Hangry is absolutely a thing. Thirdly, has she been missing sleep? Fourthly, has she talked to somebody in her life that you know she always fights with? Her frenemy, her mom, her mother-in-law, her sister, something like that. Some bitch get her riled up. And then she comes home and lots it on you. So you're like, okay, so you do all the checklists and you're like, okay, there's here. And then you realize, okay, yeah, she hasn't eaten. She hasn't slept in like 2 days. She just called her mother-in-law and I left the dishes in the sink instead of putting them in the dishwasher. I get it. So normally I put the dishes in the dishwasher. Probably should. She's got a point there. At the same time, there's 5 different reasons that aren't me as to why she's yelling at me about it right now. So I just don't take it personally. You're just like, all right. Couch is so alpha that stress has him. Nonstop Dre. And Arthur the Red, £4.99 or £4.99 super chat. Thank you, Arthur. And thank you for no Chuck Norris joke. And thank you for being 1 penny shy of the heartfelt. Nonstop Dre, Couch is alpha, stress has him. God damn Chuck Norris. I should have never said anything about it. All right, whatever. Welcome to the meme period. Yeah, period's another thing. The day before Shark Week. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, dude. Shark Week prior to Christmas? I fucking feel for you, man. Champion plowing through this stuff. I actually enjoyed the last half of the Ryan interview with the researcher SSRI chick, if only because it was a good example of how to have an interaction without kicking her off the podcast. Well, I mean, 21st century examined life. That's a mouthful. Full disclosure, about the first half hour into that one, I checked out. At first, I'm like, you know what? She came recommended. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk like normal people. I'd love to hear people who don't agree with this stuff and that. My plan for these things, or female guests, or any of this stuff, is always to be amicable, charming, pleasant, and entertaining. It's like I'm not going to win with a battle of logic. I'm going to win by people like, dude, it's actually not half bad. Hell, even on, I remember there was one live comment I saw on Chrissy Mayer's thing went on there. Dude, this guy sounds like a nice version of Tate. It's like, I just started laughing. I'm like, I'll take it. But yeah, on that one. And then once I got into there, I realized, oh, okay, this is like a singing and dancing monkey clown show. And she's just acting like a Redditor. And it's like, all right, I'm done. And a lot of people were mad too. They're like, dude, why aren't you calling her out on this stuff here? And I'm like, I'm trusting you as an audience to know what stuff is dumb and what stuff is not. I'll ask her a question and she'll contradict herself. And I'm just like, well, I don't really need to say anything more to that. I don't need her to know what she did. I'm trusting you guys to get it. But yeah, I was in there like, why aren't you yelling at her? It's like, I don't want to yell at her. What's that going to solve? I'm going to yell at her because you got turned down to the dinner by that girl? Like, no, man. Nico C, $2 super chat. The circus ran away to join Coach. Yeah, why aren't you holding her accountable? And then there's the other thing too. Everybody for the next week was sending me these videos of her talking all this mad shit about, oh, he's such an idiot on the interview. And I'm like, what do you want me to say? Like, what do you think she's going to say? Geez, I said a bunch of contradictory things and he didn't call me out on it because he knew the audience was going to catch it. No, she's not going to say that. She's going to talk this shit. And all those guys on her little podcast panel were trying to sleep with her. So of course they're going to say the same thing. And I'm like, all right, fine. You want something? And I put out some ads for it. I'm like, there you go. There's 3 ads. I think I got a third one too. Or no, I got one more.
I've talked to Ryan Stone once. I'm pretty sure the whole conversation I pushed him like pretty hard.
What was hard, Ariel?
The therapist will essentially give them SSRIs, which I think the sexual effects that SSRIs have on the body, right?
Some. Like,
Yeah.
there's tons of, like, MAOs and, like, tricyclics that you're talking about, like, the type of SSRIs that used to be given to pedophiles. We don't give those to men. We don't give those to men. But he's not as informed as, like, I think he would like to be. Yeah.
And there's the entire meta of the conversation. Nico C, $2. Coach is allowed to talk about Fight Club. Nico, I swear to fuck, man. I swear to God. You're becoming... Nico, you're going to be the new Marty. I swear to God, Marty. I swear to God. Bang, pow, right in the kisser, then tell you that you love her. Yeah. So yeah, damn, you don't take this... That's the same... And that's honestly, it's the same topic, even if it's not about Christmas, is don't take it personally. It's not about you. This chick's not talking trash. This chick's not arguing. This chick's not disagreeing and calling me incompetent or whatever because she doesn't like me. She doesn't know me. I'm a stupid talking fake. She doesn't even know my real name. This is a pen name. You think my real last name is Stone? What idiot would name their kid Stone? No. I did that because I don't want to have people come and harass my fucking family. I don't want to have somebody try and get, like, my cousin fired from their career because, well, he said something mean to me on Twitter last week. Better get his whole family fired. It's like, fuck off. No, we're going to do this. Plus, if I ever decide to pivot away, I can just drop the name and never talk about Red Pill again. And Nico was my Marty. What? Yeah, don't take this stuff personally. Most of the stuff you don't have to take personally. And I always say it's the same thing every time. Everybody's like, yeah, but they're disrespecting you. First off, you have no idea what disrespect means. When people are saying respect, what they mean is, I want you to be nice to me, which is not the same thing. That's how like a 2-year-old talks about respect. You better be nice to me. Don't make me cry. It's like, fuck you. Do you know what respect is? You give the courts respect by calling them your honor and abiding by their things without starting a fight in there. The court shows respect by giving you like the full weight of the law and consideration before they send you to jail for 20 years. That's the respect thing. Respect isn't nice, treating you as nice. Respect is about treating everybody fairly and equivalent and letting them rise and fall by their merits. Yeah, what time is it in Canada? It's like 10:30 in Canada. We're going to stop here pretty soon. So when you see, so you see girls like running at the mouth at you. You see guys running the mouth at you. You have internet people running their mouth at you. just don't take it personally. It's not about you. A lot of the time, most of the time, it's not about you, unless you're a fuck up. And if you are a fuck up, none of this applies to you. Like I said, the first question you got to ask is, do they have a point? I haven't had a job in 10 years. I'm living on welfare. I don't take care of the kids. My wife tells me and I'm a useless layabout. Oh, that bitch, she's got to respect me. It's like, well, does she have a point? Are you objectively a loser? Kinda. It's like, well, ignore the tone, focus on the content. This is something the military taught me. Ignore tone, focus on content. Like, what does that mean? Well, it's because in the military and basic training, they yell. Everything is yelling. Drill commands for parades, yelling. Critiquing your inspection locker, yelling at you. Everything is yelling at you because you need to stop listening to yelling and getting stressed and getting hurt and getting your ego checked. And you just have to listen. Like, I remember one time somebody was stressed out over something and the drill sergeant was yelling at them. But what were they yelling? And I was like, they were yelling how good his boots were. And he's like freaking out. I'm like, dude, I think you just passed inspection. He goes, why are they yelling at me? It's like, yeah, they told you this right at the start. Like, ignore tone, focus on content. Absolutely. It's because they can't stress you out with like real stress. They can't put you in a war zone to give you basic training. They have to manufacture it. And there's only so many tools the military has. Now that they've banned instructors from beating the shit out of you, which I think is probably a good thing. Going out on a limb here, beating your students is not the best way to teach them things. They can deprive you of sleep, and they can yell at you, and they can critique action. Like, they can't call you a fucking idiot, but they can say, this is the worst fucking locker I've ever seen. What idiot built this? Nonstop Drake. Again, Ryan doesn't want a harem of 9s and 10s stalking him. Jesus Christ. The 72 9s and 10s in heaven. Yeah, the alpha male heaven. Jesus Christ. So you learn that just because something is loud doesn't mean you need to take it personally. Just because a girl is not treating you nicely doesn't mean you have to take it personally. And there's a subtle psychological thing to this too, is that, and I've talked about this before, is where if a girl is being emotional and you respond to it, you can make those emotions real. Like, not real, but she believes them now. Because a lot of times when girls are talking, they don't use language the same way we do. Guys tend to stop, mull stuff over, think, and then speak when we know what we're talking about, or at least we think we do. Girls tend to speak as a way of processing emotions. So they feel something, and they start talking to each other, and then they kind of sort out, oh, okay, so that's why I feel this way. So when you get some girl yelling at you, calling you this, calling you that, if you just try to keep the peace and agree with her, I know, I'll be better, I'm such a fucking idiot, and you're objectively not a fucking idiot, well, you've just established that, yes, you are a fucking idiot, and everything you do gets filtered through the you're a fucking idiot thing. Well, Ryan, didn't you just say a minute ago, what if you objectively are an idiot? Absolutely true. But at the same time, just because you acknowledge she has a point doesn't mean you have to feed into that narrative, because the narrative is important. It's how we process things. Narrative-based decision-making, OODA loops, you guys have heard me talk about a lot. Even if you are a fucking idiot, is that every time she calls you a fucking idiot, just because she's right and you acquiesce to it, means that as you stop being a fucking idiot, you're still going to be judged by that. So it's like, why make this hassle for yourself? You know, that's why you're never supposed to apologize. It's always, you know what, mistakes were made, because the best apology is just fixing the problem. You're dangerous. You're going to get the dogs killed. You fix that problem. You don't get dangerous and get the dogs killed anymore. And now all of a sudden it's like, well, where's my apology? It's like, there's no apology. The problem is solved. It's never happening again. So that's it. Mistakes were made. Things were changed. Well done. It's deep narrative. That's where Tanny Guzzy says, where do you think he got it from, man? Deep narrative. Technically, we both stole it from Venkatesh Rao. I think he got it from me, who got it from him, but either way. And the idea was a mental model is a narrative structure that we use to base decisions on. Hundreds of little stories. Now you take all of your mental models put together, and it's called a deep narrative. So when you put those together, and the idea is you want to develop your frame. Another way to consider frame is like your own deep narrative. What collection of mental models are you going to use in your life for making better decisions for better outcomes for yourself? Once you get those, yeah. Toronto life looks like you have to live in a box in the sky. Oh, Toronto's all over the place. You can live like any life you want. I don't mind the box in the sky. I don't see why everybody gives it such a bad rap. Yeah, the square footage thing, like, granted, after 1,200 square feet, I wouldn't know what to do. There would just be empty rooms collecting dust, but I do like how my entire wall is a window staring at the CN Tower. It's like a block away from my house, and then like a stadium, and that stadium, dude, every now and then they like crank the lights in the stadium up to full. It lights my house. It's like that Seinfeld thing. But when it's at its normal level, it's nice. It's just, imagine opening your door and like somebody's got a Christmas light display on all year. It's nice. Dark Knight Dev, $5.69 super chat. I'm done with you, couch, and all this Manosphere crap. I'm Wigger Max. Like it's 2003, baby. This space god is awful. We need an Austrian painter. Dude. Wiggers. I forgot all about them. My favorite Wigger ever on like TV or anything was what was his name? Off of Trailer Park Boys. You gotta see the guy now. He's like 55 and he still does. He's like, I'm not doing this character again. J-Rock. Yeah, that's the one. J-Rock. Trailer Park East Coast rapper. It was like the most ridiculous thing ever. 72, 82, 92. Oh yeah, he's like 50 years old now. He's like, I can't be J-Rock. I'm 50. I was in Toronto a month ago and there was roving Indian family. Well, I mean, do you guys really want to get into this one here? Yes. 40%. Toronto has changed. Like the Toronto you grew up with is not the Toronto that is now. 40% of Torontonians are first generation immigrants who have been here for less than 10 years, of which a majority of them are Southeast Asian, either China or India. It's at the point now that when somebody says they're from Markham, what they're telling you is that they're Chinese. And when they're from Brampton, what they're telling you is that they're Sikh or East Indian. But yeah, there's been a couple times in my building, we see this is like an entire, like 2 families completely blocking the thing. What are you doing, bro? Oh, that's why he's just fighting. Their dogs are fighting each other. Yeah, it's just, I mean, it is what it is now. Yeah, know what I'm saying? Yeah, that was the J-Rock line. J-Rock does the adult film shoot in the trailer, classic. Oh, you guys do remember all these stuff. Dude, I love it. I'm with the Dalai Lama, re-immigration to save our country, honors lives. Try Scarborough. Oh, sorry, I forgot about Scarborough. Yeah, white grocery stores are rare. It's actually great. Yeah. If you want to go to white places, you pretty much have to live in like Etobicoke or Liberty Village at this point. I mean, I guess our part of town is like either the financial district or the entertainment district. So it's pretty, I don't know, it's got everything. So Ryan went corporate after 10 years in the Navy. I guess he was tired of government meat. Well, first off, it was 12, almost 13 years in the military. And it was just, yeah, I don't know, something to do. That's kind of what we were all brought up to be anyway. And that's another thing, is you got to be willing to change. Like, don't take it personally. Same with the military. I didn't want to do the military anymore. It wasn't working for me. The career was laid out. I knew what the next 10 years were going to be. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. So I went and did corporate. Because what else am I going to do? Pays the best, gets you where you want to live, upgrade your house, lifestyle. I'm like, why not? J-Rock shit where he's secretly still an old Wigger is pure comedy. That would be funny. That would be funny. Yeah, so a lot of this stuff is just don't take it personally. A lot of this, and you kind of look at it and everybody gets mad, not because it bothers them. They get mad because it bothers that deep narrative, right? Like case in point with the guy talking about the giant, and I think you're probably talking about over at Dundas Square when they have like, it's like an East Indian festival, like all the time there. It's mostly students. Basically an entire square block has like 10,000 Sikhs dancing around in there. And it's like, do you want to get mad at that? It's like, why? Like, is it affecting me? It's really just affecting your like inner vision of what you believe something is, you know, those narratives. It's bothering your narratives. It's not bothering you. And then it's like, well, and this is probably a bad example because it's fairly emotional that a lot of people have a very strong opinion about, but you ask yourself, it's like, okay, is it that my narratives, my mental models or deep narrative, does it need to change? Or is there something I can do to change it? And there's a bit of serenity prayer in this one. Let's get Ryan's brother on Red Morning someday. I want to see the fro. Oh, dude, he doesn't have a fro anymore. He's corporate man. He dresses normal. Yeah, ask yourself, does the narrative need to change or do my actions need to change? And most of the time, it's just the narratives need to change. Life is going to change around you. Things will not be stable, especially not the way it's going right now with the cosmopolitan global movement of, and it's been going on for a while. There's actually a great lecture by Dr. Thomas Barnett. He talks about the reimagining of like a post 9/11 America, and he was bringing up a lot of stuff with the Pentagon. He talks to the Pentagon like every year about this, where in the future a naval admiral will be in charge of 1,000 ships with a crew of 10. The idea that the Army and the State Department need a third department to handle like invasions. Like the military is about projecting force. Problem is that the military is also being used as a rebuilding force, which you can't have. You need to have a secondary tradition for that. And he talks about all these kind of things. Anyways, the one big thing is when he brought up globalism. And the idea of the globalism is about the free flowing of 5 things. And I always screw up the third one, but I'll try to get this right. It's the free flow of energy, water, food, labor, and capital. And that's kind of where we're at. And labor is really the last one. Like the free flowing of oil, that's been around since the 50s, of energy, the global energy market. And then the capital was kind of getting there. I think like post 9/11 is where it fully got it with the internet, and that made capital fully international. Food and water. The fact that Ukraine is the breadbasket of America, or of the world right now, like Ukraine. So the Ukraine war will affect food prices back home. And then the final one was labor. The fact that anybody across in the world can get a job anywhere else in the world is the ultimate global goal. Is it a trending thing, or is it an actual plan? He makes the case that this is the way things are trending as capabilities allow. And I'm fully on board with that. So if I have some image of something else, then it's my image that needs to go. It's going to change. There's nothing I can do about it. And yeah, I know we were talking about Christmas, and now I'm talking about global hegemony, whatever. So what are you going to do about it? And I'm like, well, for me, if Toronto becomes a horrible place to live, I'm going to move to the States. I'm going to expatriate. Why not? Why wouldn't you? They got more freedom and guns over there. Not a huge gun guy, but apparently I will have to be, so it's fine, whatever. Yeah, the whole don't think personally is why I learned from this content. Hell, it was called out from the beginning of the podcast, but now I just laugh at my dumb thoughts. And we all have them. Don't get me wrong. And it's one of the things I recommend all the time to guys. I'm like, when you're doing your field reports, like building up your mental models, doing your red pill thing, go once you're like 2 years in or a year in, and you're like at a place where you kind of like being, go back and read your first couple. Yeah, go live your first couple. Go read back your first couple, because if you don't look back at your initial field reports and laugh about how stupid you were, then you're just not doing it right. Like everybody looks at them and goes, "What the fuck was I thinking? Why did I even say that?" And it seems so obvious. You just want to smack that guy. And it's important that you do that too, because most, like, you see yourself every day, and so your change is so gradual that you don't notice it. Other people might notice it, but you don't notice it. So when you get that far along, to actually go and see an early you is a great way to, I don't know, it puts a bigger contrast in where you were onto where you are. I'm surprised Risk Cooper hasn't moved to the US. Well, I know he wants to, if I'm not mistaken. It's because he wouldn't have as much time to spend with his kid. Which, I mean, fair enough. If it wasn't for that, he'd probably be out already. Which, how could you not respect that, right? Yeah, I vaguely remember mine. Cringing already. Actually read it. No thanks. It's just one of those things that I find as soon as guys do, everybody has that same, oh, okay, I get it now. I get it. Because you always feel the same. You always feel the same. You never know if you're a different person. Except for some whites moving back to Dubai. Pretty much migration is 90% non-whites moving to white countries. We are fine, but in 10 generations. Dude, you're going to be dead in 1 generation. Like, stop thinking about this abstract shit. That's another part with not taking it personally. There's things that affect you personally, and there's things that don't affect you personally. And yeah, you can all be, and when I was saying that, like, you're worried more about the narrative than about your life, that's what I mean. In 15 generations, the human race, like, you don't have no idea what it's going to be like in 15 generations. We could have a nuclear war. We can have utopia. We'll probably have some middling version of what we have now. Maybe an internet that's slightly shittier. You have been dead for 400 years, so why are you even looking that far into the future? But how do you find your lifelong mission? Ryan calls it a Batman origin story for a reason. Well, that's two different things. The Batman origin story is my quip for guys that when they first come in the red pill, they feel the need to tell you their entire life story as a way of you validating them. Well, if you had lived the life I live, you would have made the same choices I made. Part of it's also because I don't know what parts of my life are important or not important, and so I'm just going to say it all and let you guys sort it out. And I was just joking because it was just like Batman, how every Batman movie has to start off by murdering his parents. Like, we know Batman's parents were murdered. We know. We get it. Can you just get to the part where he starts punching people wearing the wig? But as far as finding, and I don't call it mission, I called it vision. That calling it the mission, that's grifter stuff. What's your mission? And I think Poke talks about it too, and it's on the 16 Commandments of Boone. I just call it a vision because you're always going to have goals. Goals are goals. I want to gain 1,000 subscribers next month on Substack. I want to gain 10,000 subscribers on YouTube this year, or whatever. Those are goals. They're fine. They're actionable. They're smart goals. They're time restricted. They're numbers. You know when you've done them. You know you're not. But that's not the same thing. Vision is... It's not even so much a destination. It's not a destination. It's a path. It's like a direction. Does that make sense? Like for me, my vision was very simple. It's just never be in a position to be taken for granted or be taken advantage of. And that has guided me career-wise, that has guided me relationship-wise, that has guided me friendship-wise. It just, a lot of people I found, if I got any whiff that they were probably trying to take me or have tried to take me for advantage, then I'm like, I just don't need that shit. And then I found that once all that stuff got out of the way, the opportunities that sprung up made choices so much easier and had a lot less bullshit. It's like Christmas. I had a lot less bullshit there stressing me out. And so I can see great things happening. And I was like, there, I can just go do this. I can go do that. It's very stress-free. And then the people that I bring along with me, you know, my friends and loved ones and family and that, they kind of come with me and they feed off of this too, because how is he, you know, calm and handling this stuff? It's like, well, I'll show you how. And we do it together. And then they're calm and then I'm calm and everybody's life is better. Everybody's life is better. Or at the very least, I've made sure that I don't make anybody else's life worse. And I'm like, that's the least I could do for people that you've been with, right? You might have seen the word mission in there. Like I said, it's I wrote a lot of words and I'm probably not going to remember it identically. So you might be right that mission's there, but what I'm telling you now is you know, what I'm telling you now. Considering somebody always asks this, it's on Paul's. Oh, Paul's doing. I thought Rolo was doing. Oh no, Paul's doing it. That's right. Thanks. I'll do a redirect. 'Cause we're gonna end it off pretty soon, and I'm gonna go have some breakfast with the old lady. MLD John's got a Destiny as no frame video coming out. That's awesome. Good for him. As much as I hate the drama, I'm like, hey man, Destiny can sit and eat and shit for a bit here. Flawed 2, come on man. Look at this one. Is it never too late to learn game? Or is it gratitude, the science of getting? Keep your candy. Dude, why does he make all these one? Oh, 12 red flags at Christmas. That's the one. All right, I got it. Myron's the only one holding women accountable. Oh, fucking Christ. Nobody's holding women accountable. I'll put it this way. All those chicks that got yelled at fresh and fit, like everyone that Myron's kicked off the podcast, has any one of those girls ever taken any action that's different than what they were already doing? I would love to see an example. Like, after he kicked me off the podcast, I did some soul searching and I'm like, maybe I should stop being a hoe and settle down and whatever. I fucking doubt it. Sam Whiskey 499. My coworker's wife is imposing sleep divorce on him. Merry Christmas. What the hell is a sleep divorce? Is that a thing? Hold on a sec. I gotta look this up. We're gonna end the thing here pretty soon, but... Oh, a sleep divorce is an agreement to sleep separately in order to improve the quality of rest. Dude, that's fucking weird. I'll tell you right now. Okay, a little bit of a personal story. It's not too personal, but it's personal enough. I don't buy that for a minute. I don't. I know this because there's some days where I can't sleep and I know my girl has to work in the morning. And so I'm like, you know what? I can't sleep. I'm just gonna be sitting here tossing and turning, watching my phone, whatever. It's going to wake her up. I'll just go to the other room. I'll watch some YouTube and then, you know, try to go sleep again in an hour. And then like 20 minutes After I'm up, my girl always gets up. It's like, I can't sleep unless you're there beside me. And it's just like, yeah, the whole, you know what helped me with my sleep? If you fucked off, I don't buy that for a minute. Coworker's wife. Your coworker needs to start sleeping with the office hole because his wife's trying to tell him, it's like, I don't love you. I'm not in love with you. I'm not sexually attracted to you. And I don't know how to process this. And so I'm going to jab on to any stupid internet fashion fad and trend in order to make it happen. My ex's father retired from DARPA. He said, we gave you the internet so you could benefit from it because they were using it for years before it was given. Oh, I'll bet. And you can benefit from it. The problem, it's like any tool, though. It's like a hammer. You can build a house with it or you can hit yourself in the nuts with it. And right now, most people are hitting themselves in the nuts with the internet. Didn't Cameron Diaz? I don't know. Somebody did. Who fucking knows anymore? I mean, does it really happen unless Tate talks about it? I'm just kidding. Anyway, that's it. We're going to go over and see Paul. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. We're going to be back on the schedule stuff. Oh, dude. So another week, I'll have, I guess, updates. Another week. Actually, I'll put a thing on here. What's the timestamp on this so far? 1:30. There. Updates. I have to finish the recording. I'm about halfway done the recording stuff. Now that the office is back, I can get it going again. So by the end of the Christmas holidays, I should have the audio recording for the audiobook done. It'll take me another 2 weeks to do the mastering and QA for it. And then however long the Amazon or ACX process takes for approvals. The first book took like a month to get an approval from that. The second book took like a week. So it'll be sometime in January when the audiobook is coming out for Praxeology Volume 2, Dread, and then I'm done writing for a while. Other than Substack, I don't have to write any books in it. It's going to be great. I've got like a bunch of scripts set up. Then I'm going to start doing some more gaming channel stuff. It's going to be fun. I got a new Insta360, so that's an awesome camera, and I'm going to play around with that one, do some more like videos that are scripted and put together, ones on this channel, which are totally not worth the effort for the amount that YouTube pays, thanks Adpocalypse. But yeah, it's going to be fun. Merry Christmas to you, Nuke, Pseudoscientist, Hey Mio Hosts. Did I get that even close to right? Zach. Oh yeah, and the Digital Ryan. I'm back on the Minecraft server. I'll even do some Dwarf Fortress. Like, fuck it. Let's do it. It's going to be so much fun. I've worked damn hard to have like a chiller year where I can kind of expand and try some other things. So we'll see what happens. Anyways, we'll go hang out with Paul. We'll talk about the 15 red flags of dread or whatever the hell we're talking about. I'll put on some glasses. I might even get a Hawaiian shirt going. And then as of Boxing Day, back to the gym again. I've taken this week off. Mostly because you don't want to work out when you're drinking. Oh yeah. Make fun of one more guy. And then we'll get out of here. When in doubt.
You want to tell me why the majority of people that voted yes, I can be submissive are men?
Just want to talk a little bit about why I love women.
And the majority that said no are women? I would love y'all to ponder that for a fucking second.
I love how they always make sure, by and large, they shower the feminine energy that girls put out. It's magnetic.
You think I can be submissive? You fuck!
I adore it.
Oh, is this thing not oh, there it is.
I don't know. But I only know what my heart feels. And my heart still feels like the best, the best is yet to come. I don't know. But I only know what my heart feels. And my heart still feels like the best, the best is yet to come.
'79T 2458 Learning Corp. Little Red Riding Hood. Take one.